Mr. Calvin Ridley, because he's suspended for all of next year for gambling on the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, the story, as I understand it, is this guy had taken, and this is your background. This is your hometown guy. You tell this story.
Look.
We in your hometown.
Look.
We talking to your people.
Look.
Calvin played for your team.
Look.
Well, set the table first. Let the people know exactly what happened if they don't know.
Apparently, while he was away from the team on his mental health break or anxiety or whatever it was, apparently he played some bets on an app that included the team that he played for. So he placed, I believe it was 3 wagers.
It's a parlay.
On 3 different parlays, and the Falcons were a part of that on the surface. But see, to me, this is just appearances. I think there's something a little bit deeper going on here, okay? I think there's a deep state, and I think that this is all a part of Nick Saban's plan to subvert the great year and the great state that Georgia been having, starting with the Braves championship bookending, okay, with the University of Georgia beating Alabama. And I think that he detonated this in order to try to bring, a little bit of sadness to the state. That's what I think. You got to really think about it now. Calvin really working as a double agent.
Don't the Falcons bring enough sadness to the state alone without the help of Nick Saban?
Well, you would think that.
Don't the Hawks bring sadness to the state and the Water Boys?
You would think that, but you got to think about the Hawks. You got to think about the Hawks. Okay, the Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Yeah.
They kind of went on the same run about this time when they fired Lloyd Pierce last year.
Yeah.
Went on that run. So not so much with the Hawks, especially after beating the 76ers, which no one expected. But I think that this could be some sort of subversive plot by the Crimson Tide and Nick Saban. That's what I think. I got it on good authority. I'm not ready to take that to the masses just yet. Who that source is, but anyway, I mean, I think now. Let's just say that's not the case. Let's say that's not the case. You actually. Let's just say that he did it on his own. That's the amount of stupidity that it would take to actually place a bet on a phone, on a damn phone.
Yeah.
With your own team that you play for, I think, even though if they to win, to lose, whatever, to do that on a phone where everything is trackable.
And they're very clear that this is against their rules in the NFL. Here's the thing that's interesting. They suspended him at the minimum for 1 season.
I think he's lucky.
Right. But see, here's the problem. And actually, I can't take credit for this, but it did make Molly Quorum made me look at this. Yesterday, or this week, I'll say, because it wasn't yesterday by the time this airs, is International Women's Day. And she brought out the point on the show that in the bylaws of the NFL, crimes against women don't get these type of suspensions. Assaults. Like, Leonard Little killed somebody.
Dante Stallworth.
In a drunk driving accident and was suspended 8 games.
How long was Dante Stallworth suspended?
I don't remember.
But it was he killed somebody in Florida.
Greg Hardy beat up a woman, had a 10-game suspension.
Slammed on some guns.
Reduced it to 4 games. Ray Rice, originally 2 games. And then they ended, when the backlash happened, it ran him out the league. The question becomes about the NFL, where are their priorities? Because he bet $1,500. He's going to lose $11 million. All those other guys, Tyreek Hill had an assault against a woman in college. He had 2 domestic situations involving his son twice. Mm-hmm. None of it prosecuted because obviously if something is against a 3-year-old, he can't testify. And those cases got dropped. So I'm not accusing him of anything other than what was
but
out.
Did you hear the tapes?
There was an 11-minute tape. And if nothing else, I think it's chilling when he said to his wife, I think the wife said something to the effect of your own son is afraid of you, and his response was, "You should be afraid of me too."
Yeah, and with the expletive
Yeah,
behind it, and so we know that what we do know is that he has been violent. Now, to the degree, who knows? But that it's interesting is when you watch him run down the football field with that ball in his hand, scoring touchdowns. It's like nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's just all goes away.
And I think,
and you think about what Michael Vick did to some dogs.
Yeah.
Lost 2 years of his career.
Yeah.
But Greg Hardy can do what he did to his lady. You look at Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
That's on film. Him kicking a woman.
Yeah.
He ain't lose 2 years.
Yeah.
He kicked her while she was already on the floor.
Yeah. So I'm saying this. I'm not trying to relitigate those cases, but I will say that.
But her point.
Yes, she made a great point, and it didn't get the play that it deserved, and maybe we can uplift it here a little bit on our platform. The NFL needs to look at what they prioritize. You're going to suspend someone, and all this fake rage. I hear all this rage in the media. I listen to a lot of sports talk radio, obviously the guys on TV, and everybody's like, he maybe get life and this and third. And I never heard anybody, I didn't hear as much conversation about lifetime bans of other guys, particularly if it was thought that they could still play. Like, everybody was cool to let Ray Rice go because he was averaging 3 yards a carry at the time he beat his woman unconscious in the elevator.
Yes.
But if he was averaging 4.2 yards a carry,
which Kareem Hunt was somewhere around,
then it would have been like, well, he can still play, and second chances.
Shouldn't cut a guy's career short.
So all I'm saying is, from the point of Roger Goodell, I ain't even talking about the media, just from the NFL, they need to reprioritize what's important to them in terms of the optics, and maybe stand behind issues dealing with women a little bit more and balance that correctly with whatever gambling is, which you're now like snuggling up to the world of gambling, which I have no problem with. I gamble. I've been gambling on sports for 25 years. So I'm familiar with the world, and I don't want the games to be in question. I don't want the integrity of the game, but I think it was an overreaction.
But they need to holler at Stephen Ross then.
Exactly.
I gamble a lot, and I lose most of the time, so I'm not your guy.
I had a really bad season this year.
Yeah, I ain't never had no good season. I'm on the worst run of DFS that I've been in my life. But anyway, that's the point is, I know. The NFL
very quickly. Yeah, I had a bad beat, man. I can tell you about
the NFL is it's all basically it's a PR machine. And what they do is and you know this, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, probably the majority of our listeners, they pay the most attention to basically what the biggest fires from a PR standpoint.
Right.
So if this fire is bigger to the audience,
right,
then they'll pay more attention to it.
And it shouldn't be like that. And the thing is, I think issues involving women should be elevated. So maybe that's saying something about society.
Yeah, crimes against humans, period, would be particularly against children and women. Yeah. And I
saw women go harder about what Mike Vick did to the dogs than they were about what's actually happened to women.
Yes. Yes, and with leather shoes on, like you had with Peter, but you got on some boots. Okay, all right, then run it. However you resolve that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that situation is still gonna play itself out. I think he should appeal and I think he should get less games because I don't think that this is a Pete Rose situation where it's like
because he managed the game.
Yeah,
so Pete Rose was managing the game.
And it was over time because I think that Pete was probably betting.
He was running it up,
and when he was playing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I think this was a guy sitting at home who was not participating and probably bored and just doing whatever.
No, it was a bonehead move. And, and when you put it like that, I may reconsider because I was like a year. I mean, only a year. I thought that was pretty.
Well, just because we're trained to go gambling.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Maybe I was a victim of that.
Yeah.
Of that a little bit of being that. But I think because you know what it feels like, given the way that he did it, you could see that it seemed like a moment of just a bonehead
Right.
mistake. It doesn't seem like
he wasn't trying to come up.
Like he doesn't have a guy.
He doesn't have a guy, and he didn't put like $100,000 on like
Mayweather bet.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he bet $1,500 and he lost $11 million. That's a money line for your ass.
And so now, how is that gonna help his mental health?
Yeah.
NFL.
Yeah, that would send me into
a tailspin.
Absolute tailspin.
I'll be out here like Antonio Brown.
Bad boy. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. I ain't come for games. Say it to my face. Say it to my face.